welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And thanks for joining us for this month's Trends and Fads unit, where we look at some cool new things that you guys might want to check out. And for you guys, over the next 3 big days, we have an article all about situation puzzles.
Oh, yes.
Situation puzzles.
Those are trick questions, right?
Yeah.
You have to think very carefully and sometimes come up with an answer creatively.
That's exactly right. And they're sometimes also called brain teasers because you have to sort of tease or pull the answer out of your brain. It's almost never clear, easy, or straightforward to come up with the answer. You'll have to exercise your brain a little bit.
That's right. And they can also tease your brain.
Brain teasers, yeah, okay.
By bothering you and causing you to think too much about them for too long when they're really not extremely important. Like, for example, when somebody teases you at school or bothers you.
Well, that's the worst because, yeah, they're kind of giving you trouble. Well, this is a good kind of trouble. So are you guys ready to tease your brains with a few situation puzzles? Well, we're glad to say that for parts 2 and 3 of our unit this month, we'll actually be reading a couple of dialogues between two people who will be giving each other some of these situation puzzles to solve. And you guys are more than welcome to play along with them.
Right, but for today, we will be reading an article about the puzzles, and we can see how they can be turned into a fun game instead of just, well, a puzzle. So first, let's look at our vocabulary for today, and we will tease our brains together. 今天的文章谈到猜谜游戏的乐趣，其中非常热门的一种是情境猜谜 （situation puzzle）。我们先来看几个单字。第一个 question 问题是个名词。Can you please repeat the question? Can you please repeat the question? 可以请你再问一次刚才的问题吗？第二个单字 possible 可能的、可行的是个形容词。相反词是 impossible， 前面加字根 im。有一句话说到 make the impossible possible， make the impossible possible， 就是叫一个人把不可能的变成可能的。哇，真是一个非常高标准的要求。第三个单字 simple， 简单的是个形容词。Life is simple but not easy。Life is simple but not easy. 生活虽简单但不容易。最后一个单字 open 打开是个动词。Can you help me open the bottle? Can you help me open the bottle? 你可以帮我开瓶盖吗？好咯，我们现在看完单字例句，一起来看课文。
Puzzles are fun, and one popular kind is situation puzzles.To play, one person thinks of a situation. It's usually a bit strange. After that, they tell other people some things about the situation. Those people then need to figure out its answer. To do that, they can only ask yes/no questions.
Explanation 1.Okay,
so our article for this month is titled Think Outside the Box with Situation Puzzles. Now, as we mentioned in our introduction, these situation puzzles are sometimes also called brain teasers. And when we say that someone is thinking outside the box, what we are saying there is that they are thinking in sort of an unusual or often creative and imaginative way. They aren't going for the most simple and obvious answer. They are being a bit clever and original with their thinking.
And to solve some of these situation puzzles, you'll definitely need to think in a creative and clever way. OK， 我们先来讲几个单字。Situation puzzles 也是一种 brain teasers， 也就是脑筋急转弯的意思，需要跳脱框架思考。Think outside the box， 要用独特还有一些非常有创意的方式来思考。Creative 是有创意的，而 unusual 就是独特不寻常的方式。Okay, so let's begin the article by seeing what the first sentence says. It says, puzzles are fun, and one popular kind is situation puzzles. Well, sure, puzzles are fun. Or I guess we can say that puzzles can be fun. Depends, right? For some people, they might not like them as much as others, but maybe it's because those puzzles are too difficult. Well, I have found the more puzzles you do, the better you get at solving them.
Absolutely. Practice makes perfect. And your puzzle solving skills will definitely be improved the more puzzles you try.
Yes.
So, let's see how we can do one of the first situation puzzles we have here. And let's see if we can turn it into a fun game. Next, as we read, to play these games with situation puzzles, to play, one person thinks of a situation. And it also says it's usually a bit strange. Right. Asking a puzzle question that isn't a bit strange is okay, of course, but it also might be fairly easy for the other person to solve or for them to find the answer. So what you really want to do is try to think of something that's a little bit difficult, a little bit tricky.
And if you need help with that, because it can be very hard, there are lots of puzzle books that you can buy, and I'm sure you can find some good examples on the internet. So if you think of a good tricky question for your situation puzzle, what then? It says, after that, they tell other people some things about the situation. So you tell people about or describe the situation. That sounds simple, right?
Well, it seems pretty simple. And notice that the sentence there said that you should tell other people and not just another person. So we can see that situation puzzle games are great to play with two or more people. The more people who play, the faster you will probably be able to solve the problem, since different people will think in different ways, and then they will come up with different ideas. It's definitely a good way to play these games if you don't want to get too frustrated trying to find the answer all by yourself. So, what then? We read, those people need to figure out its answer. Yes, well, that's the goal of the game. And our goal right now is to take a quick break so that Daphne can tell us more about the first grammar point of the day.
大家好，我是 Daphne。今天的第一则文法是 figure out， 意思是想出、找出答案或解决方法。Figure 是及物动词，意思是计算、估算。Out 是副词，意思是彻底。Figure out 字面意思就是彻底计算出来，引申指想出、找出答案或解决方法，为可分动词片语。例如 Lloyd figured out the puzzle. Lloyd 解开了这则谜题。
So, you've asked the question and you've given the other players the situation puzzle that they need to figure out. Now, is that it? Is that all the information they get?
The good news is no, that's not all the information they get. To solve the problem a bit faster, it says, to do that, they can only ask yes-no questions. Interesting. So they can ask questions, but only very simple questions where the answer can only be yes or no. Well, it's very important to ask good questions then, right?
Absolutely. You'd have to use some good logic there. And to make it more challenging, you could also make a rule that people could only ask a limited number of questions, like 10 or 20 questions. And then after that, that's it. They're on their own. They have to figure out the puzzle. Okay, folks, well, it looks like it's time for us to take our break right here, but don't go far because we will have more about situation puzzles in just a moment. So, the only possible answers are yes, no, and not important. The answer to the situation isn't always simple, though. As a result, the askers need to open their minds and think in different ways.
Explanation 2.
All right, we are back. So, you've set the question, and now your friends are trying to figure out the answer. Let's hope you have smart friends.
Yes.
And they are also asking their simple yes or no questions. So, let's keep reading to learn more about this part of the game.
Okay, so the next sentence says, so the only possible answers are yes, no, and not important. Okay, so that's helpful. If people ask a question that's not really important or it doesn't really help them answer the puzzle, you can say not important. So this will stop them from going off and thinking about all these answers that are not close to the actual real answer.
And if that seems a little bit like cheating or at least making the game too easy, well, you probably don't need to worry about that. Good puzzle questions will be quite challenging on their own. As we read, the answer to the situation isn't always simple, though. Absolutely. I'd say that it should never be too simple, otherwise it wouldn't be fun, and you wouldn't get the thrill of success when you do find the correct answer.
通常情境猜谜的答案都并不简单，因为太简单的话，答对就没有什么兴奋或是刺激的感觉，反而会失去挑战性。Thrill 是兴奋、刺激感，而 challenge 就是挑战。Okay, so let's make another moment here and take time to go to Daphne so she can tell us about our second grammar point of the day.
第二则文法是 the answer to 加名词，意思是点点点的答案解决方法。Answer 是名词，意思是答案解决方法。后方用介系词 to 属于，引出待解答的问题。例如 What is the answer to the math problem? 这道数学题的答案是什么？
So, to make a good situation puzzle, the key is to have a good question. Now, the question shouldn't be too easy to answer because then that wouldn't be fun. There would be no challenge in that.
Right, but it also shouldn't be too hard. If no one can answer it, then the other players will just get bored and people will stop having fun. So, as we read in the last sentence, as a result, the askers need to open their minds and think in different ways. And this can be tricky if you've never done any situation puzzles. So that's why we suggest getting a book or finding some examples online.
That would definitely be a great way to start. And a great way for us to finish today is with Daphne and our final grammar point. So let's go check that out.
第三则文法是 as a result， 意思是结果，为副词片语，使用的时候通常放在句子的开头，用来承上启下。上一句是原因，下一句是结果。例如 Max sprained his wrist. As a result, he did not play in the final. Max 手腕扭伤，结果决赛时没上场。
Okay, so there we are. Situation puzzles. You guys have got all the basics now, so maybe you're ready to try your own.
Well, or maybe you need just a few more tips and suggestions.
Maybe. Either way, please come back tomorrow when two friends will begin asking each other some of these brain-teasing situation puzzles, and we will get a chance to see exactly how they work, and we will also be able to play along with them. So we'll see you guys then. Until then,
bye-bye.
Bye. Think outside the box with situation puzzles. Puzzles are fun, and one popular kind is situation puzzles. To play, one person thinks of a situation. It's usually a bit strange. After that, they tell other people some things about the situation. Those people then need to figure out its answer. To do that, they can only ask yes/no questions. So, the only possible answers are yes, no, and not important. The answer to the situation isn't always simple, though. As a result, the askers need to open their minds and think in different ways.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天我们来学习各种时态的被动句。被动句是用来强调动作的接受者，它的句型是主词加 be 动词加过去分词加 by 再加受词。如果我们没有要特别强调动作的执行者，句中的 by 加受词通常会省略不用。同学们在写各种时态的被动句时，一定要记得句中只有 be 动词要配合时态做变化，过去分词的部分不能做变化。现在我们就来学习各时态的被动句吧。首先，现在简单式的句型是 is 或是 am 或是 are 加上过去分词，像是 Taiwan's beautiful cities are visited by millions of people each year. 台湾的美丽城市每年被数百万人造访。而过去简单式的句型是 was 或是 were 加上过去分词，例如 Was the car hit by a bus? 这辆汽车被公车撞了吗？现在进行式的句型是 is 或是 am 或是 are 加上 being 加上过去分词，例如 A new building is being built now. 一栋新的大楼正在被建造中。而过去进行式的句型呢是 was 或是 were 加上 being 加上过去分词，例如 The puppy was being fed by a little boy then. 这只小狗当时正被一位小男孩喂食。这边要提醒同学们，用进行式来表达被动句时，通常只会用现在进行式或是过去进行式。至于现在完成进行式、未来进行式、未来完成进行式，我们通常不用被动式。那我们接着来看现在完成式的句型 has 或是 have 加上 been 加上过去分词，例如 Has that house been sold yet? 那间房子已经被卖掉了吗？最后未来式的句型是 will 加 be 加上过去分词，例如 The project will be finished by the new engineer. 这个计划将由这位新的工程师完成。好，另外我们可以用 be going to 来表达未来式，那它的被动句句型就是 am 或是 is 或是 are 加上 going to 加上 be 再加过去分词。像刚刚的例句也可以说 The project is going to be finished by the new engineer. 以上是今天的讲解，希望同学们已经学会各种时态的被动句了。我们下次见 ，See you next time. Bye. Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 欢迎收看我们1分钟的单元。在这1分钟时间里面，我们要复习4个单字，还会造4个例句。同学们，您都准备好没？1分钟计时开始。第二个单字呢是问题，问问题的问题叫做什么 ？Question。像我们不是说 Q&A 吗？那个 Q 就代表这个字 question。Don't be afraid to ask silly questions。不用害怕问蠢问题，一定要学着问，然后你这样才会有求知欲啊，有好奇心，你才会学得更多。好，第二单字呢是形容词，形容可能的或是可行的，它叫做 possible。possible 在前面加上 I am 变成 impossible， 那就是不可能的。OK，is it possible for humans to live to 150 years old？ 人类有可能活到150 150岁吗？但我不想活那么久。好，第3个单词是形容词，形容容易的、简单的，它叫 simple。Simple. The smartphone is simple to use. 这只智慧型手机用起来很简单，很好用。好，第4个单字呢是指打开、敞开，像是开窗、开门之类的，这个开叫做 open。但我们可以用 open one's eyes 来表达使某人大开眼界，或是让他可恶，这个字要讲很多，就让我讲好了。Open one's eyes 可以表达使什么大开眼界，他开始意识到某个重要的事情，或是 open one's mind 可以表达打破思维，可以去理解说不同的想法或者思考方式。那我们来造个例句 ：The teacher encouraged his students to open their minds and think outside the box. 老师鼓励学生打破思维，跳脱框架去思考。好啦，不管怎么样，我们还是复习完4个单字了。那同学们要把这些用法多多复习哦。那我们下次一起加油，一起努力哦。我们下次见，拜拜。
See you next time.